Today, I want to talk about setting up the date really fast, within 2 to 3 days maximum. Now, most men lose women before the first date, before the date ever happens. It's not because they say something wrong, but because they wait too long to ask the woman out. A connection doesn't grow from talking, a connection grows from action. A connection grows from experiences. It grows from doing stuff together, creating memories. And if you don't move in, someone else will. Now, this is for the guys who match with women online, text for a couple of days or even weeks, and you try to build comfort through conversation. And then the spark is gone before anything has ever happened, before anything has ever started. I know you think taking it slow is respectful, but it has nothing to do with respect. You know, slow in modern dating means forgettable. You gotta be fast, you gotta be quick. Dating apps are fast. That's what it is. Interest comes and goes like the weather. You know, you gotta move in before your window closes. If you match with a girl on, let's say, Sunday, and you text back and forth, the vibe feels kind of good. You get a good feeling for this woman, like, yeah, I kind of like her. I think we would be a good fit. She laughs, she replies quickly, and you're thinking, yeah, that's nice. Let's keep the conversation going. And asking her out doesn't even cross your mind, or it does, but you think, well, I'll ask her later. So Monday, you chat. Tuesday, you're chatting. Wednesday, you're sending some voice notes, maybe some memes, stuff like that. You're building the conversation. And then finally, Thursday or even Friday, you think, well, I'm going to ask her out. And you do. And to reply, I'm busy, or maybe she even unmatched you already. And she doesn't reply. You didn't mess up the conversation. That's not the problem. But you just let the attraction cool before it could heat. You gotta strike when the iron is hot. I think that's the saying. You treated her like a pen pal, not like a potential partner. And I've been on a couple of dates. I've been on, well, many dates actually. And I've heard women say this over and over again that most men they match with don't follow through. They keep talking and talking, but they never ask the woman out. So when I go on a date with a woman, I often hear this that they say, well, you're one of the few that actually asked me out. So let that be in your benefit, in your advantage. You know, use that to your advantage. Know that a lot of guys never ask the woman out, but you got to be the guy that follows through. So ask the woman out and do it fast before the attraction cools. I think 3 days maximum is the sweet spot. Usually, I ask the woman out within a couple of texts, right? So we text back and forth a couple times. I gotta get a little bit of a feeling for who she is and if we are actually potentially a good match. And then I'll ask her out. Now, obviously, it really depends, but I think 1 to 3 days maximum that you wait before you ask her out. Now, remember this, guys. Texting doesn't build chemistry. It only maintains some interest, but only the interest you already created. So far, you haven't created anything. You need real interaction. You gotta have tone of voice. You can't communicate that through text. You gotta have eye contact. You know, you gotta see how she moves. She has to see how you move. She has to know how you think, how you speak, how you tell jokes, how you are in real life. A date creates memory. Texting creates nothing, nothing at all. And I speak from experience here. There have been many times that I waited too long and, The conversation just it fizzles out. She unmatches, or after a week, I'm like, I don't really care anymore. I'm bored already. I've waited too long. Never mind, and I unmatch. I've also been on dates, and we agreed to go on a second date, but we never continue the conversation, or we never actually set a new date. We wait too long. I've had this recently. I went on a date with this woman. We had a great time. And then we said, well, let's go for drinks next week. And we both said, yeah, let's do that. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, I realized, yeah, if we really wanted to go on a second date, we would have already planned one, or maybe already have been on one. So the momentum is gone. And she recognized that as well. And she asked me, do you even want to go on a date? And I was like, not really, not anymore. We waited too long. I liked you, but not anymore. So it does happen quite often. So you got to keep it pushing. Now, other men are moving. You got to realize you've probably seen, the videos on YouTube, and you've heard it on podcasts. For every like you get, a woman gets like 20 to 50 likes. For every match you get, she gets 100, something really crazy. So remember, she's probably talking to 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 other guys. There is competition here. You're not the only guy. Remember that. So you're thinking maybe, I don't want to rush. But other guys are thinking, and I'm not going to wait. I like this woman. She replies, we're having somewhat of a vibe. Let's grab drinks. Let's grab drinks Thursday. Now, who do you think is going to win? Well, of course, the guy who is asking her out. He has a real life chance to actually get into a relationship or to get into whatever it is that he wants. The one who steps forward is the one who wins. And let me tell you, women are attracted to men who lead. Don't listen to all the YouTube feminist stuff and women who tell what men should and shouldn't do, and guys who tell you that, you got to be soft and, you got to be gentle and all that stuff. No, you got to be a guy, you got to be a man. Be confident, lead, ask a woman out. And women are attracted to men who lead. You don't need to rush, but you gotta lead. You gotta keep the conversation going to a certain point, which is a date. And if you can't even schedule a date, why would she believe that you can lead a relationship? Why would she believe you can lead anything? She doesn't. Confidence is directness with calm energy, not hesitation. Now, what you gotta do is keep the early conversation really short and playful. Keep it light, keep it fluffy, keep it moving. You're not writing novels, you're just trying to confirm the vibe. Trying to figure out if she's actually fun, if you are on the same level. I usually ask a few questions like, what does a typical Sunday with you look like? If we were together, how would we spend a weekend? To get the vibe, to figure out if she does the same things in her free time that I would like to do, to see if we match actually, you know? So I want to confirm the vibe. And then I'll just pull the trigger. I say, okay, well, you seem fun. That's a great answer. I like that. How about we grab drinks before we're writing a whole book here? And that's humor, that's leadership, that's pulling through. It's a great combo. And you should offer the date within 2 to 3 days. Don't wait any longer unless there is a specific reason as to why you should wait longer. It's not needy, it's not rushing, it's intentional. You're an important guy. You have stuff to do. You don't want to spend days chatting and texting. So you can just say, I'd like to see this energy in real life. I want to see if you're really as fun in real life as you are here on the chat. So how about we grab drinks, let's say it's Monday, and you just say, how about we grab drinks Thursday? And then you get a reply. Or you can say, well, I'm free Thursday or Friday. What do you think? It's assertive, it's not controlling at all. And if she hesitates, slow your effort. Don't chase. You just open the door and she decides whether she walks through it or not. Don't stress, you know. You can just tell her, okay, that's not a problem. Let me know when you're free. And if she's interested, she will come back. And if she doesn't, you didn't lose anything. Never beg for the things that aren't offered. Remember that modern dating is fast, it is competitive, and it's attention based. And online people have a very short attention span. You don't win by writing paragraphs, you win by presence, direction, and momentum. Attraction grows through experiences, not through emojis and typing bubbles. Move with intent, ask early, be calm, don't be aggressive, don't be needy. Just be a man who knows what he wants, and you want her to go on a date with you. Women feel that, and women react to that. So, if you've been texting a girl for more than 3 days without a date locked in, you're not dating her, you're entertaining her. So, this is my advice for you. Ask the woman out within 2 to 3 days maximum, probably within the few first texts that you sent. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.